to create a quiz in Canvas, you'll navigate to quizzes in your course navigation, and then you'll click plus quiz. This is going to bring up a question about whether you want classic or new quizzes. Classic quizzes is not going to be supported by Canvas for much longer, so you want to choose new quizzes and then remember my choice and click submit. This is going to create a new quiz for you, and it's going to look a little bit like an assignment, and you're going to give it a name. I'm going to just call this practice, and a number of points. And then you'll also want to choose who you want to assign it to. In this case, we'll leave it assigned to everyone. And then you'll click save. And this is going to take you to the quiz creation tool. And it looks a little different from a lot of the other things you've seen in Canvas, but you'll find familiar elements here. So the first one is you'll see that you start with the title that you already put in here. And if you want to add instructions for the entire quiz, you can click on that, and it brings up the rich content editor, and you can add any instructions here. You also can click the plus button, and that's where you add your questions. So you'll notice that you have a whole range of choices of questions, and I'd encourage you to go in, practice with them, and make sure that you know what all those questions do. I'm going to start with multiple choice because we use that pretty commonly. And if I click multiple choice, I then give the question a title, and I might suggest, because this is for your reference, giving it a descriptive title and also including the objective, so it's easy for you to find again if you want to reuse this question in the future. Then you're also going to give a question stem, and we've all written multiple choice questions before, so what is the answer? And then I'm going to say, this one's right, this one's wrong, and this one is really wrong. And then I can go on to add as many questions or as many possible answer choices as I want. But in this case, I only want 3. So I'm going to click on this trash can to get rid of the 4th choice. I can also click plus answer to add 4 or 5 or 6 answer choices. And then I can use this feature right here, which I think you'll like, to give instant feedback to my students. So if I click on this, if they choose right, I can give them instant feedback and say, good job. I do the same thing for any of my answer choices. So I can give them constructive feedback as soon as they've submitted it. I also have some options for this question to show the calculator on screen. That is not a Desmos calculator. I can also choose to vary my points by answer. So if I want to give 2 points for getting the right answer and 1 point for getting the wrong answer and 0 for giving the really wrong answer, I can do that. I'm going to choose not to. And then I can shuffle my choices so it appears differently on my screen from my neighbor's screen. So I have all of those options here. And when I click done, that question is going to show up the way it appears on the quiz. It's a little cleaner looking, of course. You can then click plus here or up here to add a question, just to choose the order that you want to put it in. And you are able to go through all of these different types of choices. I want to point out a few other options in quizzes. You have these options across the top, including settings. This lets you really customize the way the quiz appears to students. I think it's worth noting that there's time limit options, allow multiple attempts options, and it allows you to choose which score to keep if students do choose that up, if you do choose to let students have multiple attempts at a quiz. You've got reports right here, which will show you once students have filled them out. It'll give you some good data about their quizzes. And you're going to really like the moderate feature, which allows you, when you have students in here, it allows you to remove time limits on a quiz from specific students or give specific students the option to have a longer attempt at a quiz. And it's a great way to set up accommodations for a student. Once you do that for a student in this moderate tab, it will stick with them throughout your course. So it's a great way to address IEP needs. That's what you need to know about quizzes. I hope this is helpful.